Sam Raimi, the director of the Spider-Man trilogy and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, has been making the rounds talking about everything that has to do with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. The subject of Spider-Man 4 was brought up, and his tone on this has changed. So this comes from a recent interview with Empire magazine, where during the interview, the director of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Sam Raimi, was talking about his previous experiences, and of course he brought up the Spider-Man trilogy, and that really getting him to where he is now to be able to do Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for Marvel Studios. He of course did spend a little bit of time talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, seeing Tobey Maguire there, kind of reflecting on how far both of them have came so far, how he was honored to be able to see Tobey Maguire there because they're old friends and everything, and the subject of directing more Marvel films was brought up. Now previously, when asked about Spider-Man 4 or potentially returning for anything for Sony, and this is when it was first announced that he would be directing Doctor Strange, he actually gave answers that were like, well, I don't think that could ever happen, but it would be kind of interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with Spider-Man. And all this kind of has changed. Like, the tone has changed now, where he says that he doesn't know what's coming next. But if he was asked if he could handle old friends and come back and find an interesting way to spend more time with them, that he would be willing to do it. Obviously referencing, again, reteaming with the old team from the Spider-Man trilogy. So again, this is one of those interesting situations where I think you have to look at the bigger picture and understand that Sony owns Spider-Man and they co-share him with Marvel Studios. And now that the multiverse is here and there's quite clearly fan demand for more, there is an easy way to be able to bring him back. And we know that the studios will fight over him. I mean, look at John Watts for Spider-Man and then Fantastic Four. We learned that before he took on Fantastic Four, Sony was offering him big money to jump ship and direct films directly for them to take on the entire universe they had and direct more Spider-Mans, but he decided to stick with Marvel Studios. Who's to say Sony's not going to do the same thing with more Spider-Man and the potential Spider-Man 4 finally? If the money is right and they give him creative freedom and don't shoehorn things in there, I think he could do it. But again, there's probably going to be another battle of, hey, who's going to let you do more and who's treated you better before? From everything we can see, it seems like Marvel Studios is doing a pretty decent job. But hey, never discount a truck full of money being dumped on your lawn and them going do whatever you want. Because, yeah. And I think people would show up to watch Spider-Man 4. Of course they would. I mean, nostalgia. Just think, by the time Spider-Man 4 comes out, it'd be like, what, 30 years since the first one? 30 years? Oh God.